Hey guys, it's Kathy. I hope you're doing well. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Bossy, thank you. I'm not buying an alarm clock with that. I think, listen, when you hear why I overslept, I think everybody except Fozzie will be okay with this. So my daughter moved back in. So yesterday and today, all I've been doing was moving boxes, carrying furniture, cleaning, 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 moving our stuff away, moving her stuff in, and that was exhausting. But I don't think that's what pushed me over the edge. Um, I worked last night, got home, moved more boxes, bags, furniture, but my daughter moved back in. So, of course, after work last night, I made this huge dinner. And for huge dinners, it takes you have to go and you have to get the stuff, then you have to prep the stuff. So I think that was what did me in that huge dinner and cleaning up and then moving boxes all day and then working. I overslept. My body said that's enough. You can't get up anymore. I can't believe how far I overslept though. It's 6:30. Whoo. I'm sorry though, guys. I'm sorry. She's moved in now. There's no more boxes to move. So, but I work a double today. But remember, I'm not streaming on Monday. So, I am going to sleep a lot on Monday. Maybe. We'll see. Thank you guys for coming. Melissa, oh my gosh, I saw Judge Fleischer's interview with Bill and he is so cool. It just, when you think you got how cool Judge Fleischer is, and then boom, he just smacks you with another level of just awesomeness. I just can't believe, we need more. We need more Judge Fleischers everywhere. We just do. All right, Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. Now we're going to get into the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. Um, so I don't know if any of you are MMA fans or, you know, martial arts. Um, but if you watch an MMA bout, um, mixed martial arts, fighting in the ring, octagon, you see people come in there and, they punch each other, they kick each other, bloody everywhere. Um, and that's how they knock people out, or they get people to submit. Gracie, a while ago, Gracie changed everything. He came into the octagon of the ring and he was this tiny little, I think he was like 120 pounds, but don't quote me on that. He was this tiny little thing. And I don't know how to describe it. So like the the big MMA fighters would come in, and get ready to pound them. And are you ready? Are you ready? Let's get it on. And then it was like a spider monkey or something. Gracie would just like climb on them, and then all of a sudden they're tapping out, tapping out. Before anybody really realized what was going on, these great big fighters are just tapping out, tapping out, tapping out. Because with Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, um, they know the the points, of the body that will make a human being submit right away if you put pressure on it. And they know exactly, how to do that. It's pretty amazing. I mean, there is punching and kicking and things like that. It's jujitsu, but Gracie would just, it was like he would just like climb on you and then tap out. People would just tap out. So we're gonna see a little bit of this of this type of thing today uh, in this trial, which is pretty interesting. Um, Tomorrow we get to see videos, things like that. Today we just get to see some pictures, I think, of of it. And this is what was really, really cool um, when I was watching this. And the end is cool, and this part is cool. So we got through the other stuff. Now we get to go into because they're saying, how can he does jujitsu every day, so how can he really be injured? So, but it's Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, which makes a difference when you're talking about jujitsu. It just does because they're very careful. They have ultimate control and they understand you know the body and how everything works. And so let's get going. Oh, I have to fast forward it.
I'd like to show but it's car accident.
Weight gain.
Either, right? Why you saw
Outside. Okay.
All right, here we
How
go.
do you use my jacks today? This is Jerry. Hi. Tell me looking at this. Wow, I don't know about that.
That's good.
Come forward, please. Face me, raise your right hand. You swear or affirm under the pains and penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
Yes, sir.
Have a seat up here. You were very, very quiet. Use a nice big voice like you're outside. Will you do that for me?
Yes, sir.
Direct, Mr. Mel.
Hi, Adam.
All right.
I'm going to ask you some questions so you can tell the jury about what your personal experiences were in terms of your observations of Jeremiah, what you saw and knew of him, say before his car accident, after his car accident, and then how he's doing today, how you've seen him recently. So I just asked you to answer these honestly and to the best of your recollection. So do you know Jeremiah Jackson?
Let's clean up my record a little bit. Mr. Mel didn't ask you this. I'm going to ask you this. I want you to state your name for the record.
My name is Adam Wright.
Spell that, please.
ADAMWRIGHT.
Now, Mr. Mel, direct. Go
Thank you.
ahead.
Do you know Jeremiah Jackson?
Yes, sir, I do.
How do you know him?
I know him through jiu-jitsu.
Okay. And how long have you known him?
I have known him since roughly 2012.
Okay. And when you met him, was he a jiu-jitsu instructor or only a teacher?
He was only a teacher. I don't believe he was certified at that time.
Okay.
I don't know for sure.
So you believe he was just a student at that point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Were you a student at that point?
Correct.
Okay. And are you an instructor now?
I am.
Okay. How long have you been an instructor?
Since 2019.
Okay. Have you ever spent any time with Jeremiah outside of jiu-jitsu?
No, sir.
All right. And so all of your interactions with him have been at jiu-jitsu?
That's correct.
And how often would you see him there?
Once a week is all I was training at the beginning, and then as I approached my certification in 2019, I began training more to present day where I see him 3 days a week.
Okay. So when did you say you first met him?
Around 2012.
Around 2012, and then to 2019?
Yes.
You said you went about once a week.
About once a week, sometimes twice a week. Yeah, twice a week at most.
Okay. So for about 7 years, you saw him once a week.
That's correct.
Okay. So you had a lot of opportunities to observe him.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what did you observe of him there at jiu-jitsu before the accident?
Pre-accident, he was very athletic. He would move quite quickly. He was a create a situation type grappler. And what I mean by that is that he would be in motion, in movement, not necessarily based on control, but he would take what would be an opportunity for him rather than be a control-based grappler and kind of create opportunities, which is where he would be after the accident.
Okay. What else?
In terms of jiu-jitsu,
or just in terms of your observations of him, how you saw him conducting himself at the gym?
So at the beginning, very, like I said, very active, very athletic, moving, kind of taking submissions rather than creating them. Progressive, I mean, very in shape. And then after the accident, obviously, mobility was limited.
So hold on. Before the accident, did you ever observe him to have any physical limitations?
No.
Okay. And prior to the accident, was he an instructor?
Yes.
Okay. And what did you observe of his instructing when he was like teaching?
Very much hands-on, full capabilities inside and outside, being both good guy and bad guy.
Okay. And what do you mean by that? Good guy and bad guy?
So good guy and bad guy means in every altercation, there has to be at least two individuals involved.
Drink.
So what you have is you have a good guy, which ultimately is the individual who's going to be doing the defending, and you have an assailant or the bad guy, the person then who is then creating the situation of which we're looking to defend.
Okay. And how is that relevant in terms of teaching?
It's very relevant in terms of teaching because sometimes there is certain indicators and situations that you kind of have to create. There are also then when you're in these situations where you are working with individuals, sometimes it's very much a feel-based connection. And if you don't have the ability to be the bad guy or have the move put onto you, it's more difficult for you to feel what might be missing from a student's technique.
Okay. So in terms of how you guys teach or how you guys instruct, if I walk into the gym and class is going on, like what am I going to be observing in terms of?
I'm going to do my best. And I am oops, there's a kitten. I am far from an expert at all, but I'm going to do my best. So, okay. There's karate. And each of these, so one's not better than the other. Kung Fu, Jiu-Jitsu, karate, Taekwondo, they're different. All right. And I guess how hard Jiu-Jitsu is compared to others, it's hard. But I guess it's how much work you put into it. Karate is extremely hard. Or, you do barely the work just to learn the basics and it's really easy. Kung Fu is really hard. Or, you don't put the work in. So see with martial arts, even the smallest thing with martial arts, can be very hard, or you are expected to put maximum work in to do just the smallest thing over many, 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 many years. That same move over and over again for many years until you mastered it. So I think it's up to you how hard it is. It's up to you which one is hard, how much work you put into it. And with all martial arts, it's just, I mean, they're all just focus, dedication, all of them. Deadly now. I don't know which one is the most deadly. You like in a fight, would I rather, be a black belt in karate or jujitsu or kung fu or taekwondo or whatever? I think kung fu. That's what I personally, that's personally. I know I'm gonna get some hate, but that's just personally. I think kung fu. That's where I would go to if I was gonna get into a fight. Or, beer courage. I don't know.
Of how you are trying to show these people in the gym how to do certain things?
Well, there's going to be basically the good guy, and then there's going to be the bad guy. And the bad guy is going to do what we're going to call an indicator. And it's going to be depending on maybe it's going to be a punch or a tackle or a grab or a grip. And then the good guy is going to respond then based upon the specific parameters that we have kind of created in the situation.
Okay. So would it be fair to say that the good guy is the one doing the move on the bad guy?
That is correct.
Okay. And is that like an erratic movement, or is that kind of a slowed down, controlled action to show the observers what's going on?
Very, very slow and very controlled. In fact, it's usually it's laid to the students in terms of the same way that you would paint a wall, where it's going to be like layer 1, layer 2, layer 3 before you ultimately end up with the finished product.
So where are these people at in relation to everyone else on the mat?
The good guy, bad guy, the instructors are going to be in the center of the room, center of the mat.
Okay. So there's a room, there's a mat in the room, and then there's these 2 guys in the middle,
That's correct.
surrounded by everyone else in the gym.
All the students, that's
The
correct.
students. And you guys teach different moves, is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. So the good guy is the one demonstrating the move on the bad guy for everyone else to see.
Yes.
And so prior to the car accident, was Jeremiah both the good guy and the bad guy
Yes.
for all of the moves or just some of the moves?
All of the moves.
Okay.
In the LaGrange school, is bad guy more often than good guy based on the hierarchy of instruction.
Okay. So what do you mean the hierarchy?
So Chet is the owner operator of the schools. He's the guy that kind of paved the way. Chet Scammahorn. He's our 3rd degree black belt, 4th degree now, I believe. He would lead the way. So then Jeremiah would have been the bad guy at that point.
And so
prior to the accident.
So the moves are being applied on Jeremiah in front of all the other students.
Correct.
Okay. Whether it would be maybe an arm lock or a leg lock or some sort of choke.
That is correct.
So Jeremiah was able to kind of demonstrate those moves on both sides of the spectrum as the good guy and the bad guy to the students.
That's correct.
Okay. So before the accident, did you ever see any limitations that he had in terms of being able to teach?
I did not.
Okay. Any limitations on him in terms of being a student?
No.
Okay. Did you ever hear him complain of any neck pain or any back or neck pain or arm pain?
I did not.
Okay. And so would it be fair to say that he was able to kind of teach and train freely without limitation?
That's a correct statement.
All right. Now, did you have opportunities to observe Jeremiah after his car accident?
Yes, sir.
In fact, did you become aware that he was in a car accident? Did you even know that?
I did know that.
Okay. So, what did you observe after the car accident?
Oh, yes. Yes, it does.
Major changes in his ability to perform jiu-jitsu to his previous capacity.
Okay. And how so?
Well, he's very, very mindful. One thing that became more prevalent, I think, in our school is just that safety is paramount. So one thing that and it became more verbalized, but if something's uncomfortable, then we tap. And what tap means is like, it's the same as uncle or I surrender, right? It's just the moves stop, everybody freezes. That way there's no further action. So if there was somebody that was going to be uncomfortable from that point on, there's nothing worse. From that point on, though, Jeremiah was unable to do any of the neck-related bad guy positions.
Okay.
It's not that he couldn't apply a guillotine, but he was no longer the recipient of said move.
Okay. So you're saying after the accident, he could demonstrate the moves by putting them on someone else, but at that point, he wasn't having at least the ones involving his neck applied to him.
That is correct.
Okay. And what about like sparring?
I cannot recall the last time Jeremiah has actually sparred.
Okay. Now, before the accident, did he spar?
Every day.
Okay. Is sparring important? If I want to go learn jiu-jitsu and I'm watching the good guy and the bad guy demonstrate these moves, is it important that I be able to then spar?
Yes.
Why is that?
Because that's ultimately the application of the technique. So you can have a fundamental understanding of how the technique is going to be applied, what it should look like, what it should feel like. But to be able to apply that under just the limited stress that we have inside our safe culture, underneath a little bit of a resilient or a resisting opponent, there are subtle changes and things that you need to be able to recognize in terms of your body and the body of people whose body types are going to be different, to understand that there is the ability then to kind of adapt on the fly, make subtle changes, and if it doesn't work, understand why.
So would an analogy for that maybe be where, if someone wanted to tell me how to play basketball and they showed me, shooting hoops and so forth, but then the sparring would be me actually going and playing in a game.
Yes, that is correct.
So is my inability to actually go and play in the game, is that going to hinder my learning and the quality of how good I'm going to be if I can't spar?
It would limit your physical experience.
Okay. So you're saying you don't remember the last time that he sparred?
That's correct.
Okay. Have you noticed anything visually different about Jeremiah since this car accident?
Weight gain, definitely. Like from being super, super in shape to more of the modern day dad bod.
Okay. Which apparently, people have that, but he didn't.
He did not prior to.
So we have a better understanding. I want to ask you some questions about your jiu-jitsu gym. Are all jiu-jitsu gyms the same?
No, sir.
Okay. And so let's just talk about your gym. It's the same one. You and Jeremiah go to the same gym. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. What's the name of that?
Gracie Jiu-Jitsu Fort Wayne.
Okay.
It's a certified training center.
All right. So they go to the jiu-jitsu gym when it starts, and is there like a first, is there multiple classes, one class? How does that work?
How's
it broken down, the learning per
So there are 36 techniques that are broken down over 23 classes. Those 23 classes are taught in a modular format, meaning each one is different every class period. So we run 2 classes a day, 11 and 6 for the combatives program.
Okay. So combatives is what you learn.
Combatives is the program that the Gracies have designed to be the fastest way for street readiness.
Okay. So I go to your class on whatever night of the week it is, and you guys start demonstrating combatives. Okay.
Yes.
And then what happens after the combatives class?
So we will go through the technique. We'll go individually. So we'll put we call them slices because some of the techniques are multifaceted. So we would go through the first piece, make sure everybody has that baseline. Go to the next piece, make sure everybody has that. And as it just kind of builds upon itself, at the end of the class, you will have a complete technique, whether it be, a headlock defense, or it's going to be an arm lock, or.
So when you say slices, do you mean they show part of the move and then everyone practices that part of the move?
Yes, that is correct, sir.
And then you show them a little bit more of the move and they practice that?
Yes.
So then they slowly learn that one technique.
Yes. So it's very, very basic. And then we add a little bit to it, and then you add to it, because if we did it all at one time, there's too much happening at one time. And that's where accidents can happen, things of that nature, or people get frustrated because it's too difficult.
And once you go through those techniques, is class then over?
Yes.
Okay. What happens after class? Everyone just goes home?
If they'd like to. We have, ultimately 3 classes are going to be kind of right in a row, 2 classes and a sparring. So we have a Gracie Combatives class, which is your entry level. Then after Combatives belt, then what you have is what they call the Master Cycle. And Master Cycle is more Jiu-Jitsu versus Jiu-Jitsu. And then after that is when it opens up for sparring. Typically by that point, you have more of the advanced students and the folks that want to come in and only do the self-defense and have an hour's worth of their time are free to leave.
So when
That's fine, Cheryl. It's only getting interesting now. The other stuff is boring. Car accident, medical terms, doctors,
you guys are in the class before you start sparring, are you when just briefly going back to the good guy, bad guy thing, when you're doing these slices,
Yes.
are you applying these moves like strong, like are you really torquing someone's arm, or are you just kind of going through the motions to get some muscle memory
And speaking in terms of sparring,
before you get to that?
no, definitely not. It is applied with what we call minimal force.
Okay.
And
So would it be safe to say it's safer to practice in terms of doing the drills rather than the sparring?
yes. Yes.
And so that's what you had said earlier, is that you would see Jeremiah can do some of that still, but in terms of the rolling, that's their sparring. Isn't that you haven't seen him do that lately?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
And so you said jiu-jitsu schools are different.
Yes,
Okay. And you guys are Gracie Jiu-Jitsu.
that is correct.
And are all of the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu schools the same?
No, sir.
Okay.
We are a certified training center through Gracie University.
Okay. And is your school a school that, prides itself on applying these techniques with strength and speed?
No, opposite.
What do you mean by that?
We pride ourselves on ultimately human intelligence over brute force, because as you can see, I'm not a superhuman in size nor athleticism. However, I do feel that I can defend myself should need be if the fight so chooses me. And what we do is
I choose it. I'm going to fight him. I'm going to see. I'm going to test it. I'm going to test against Gracie.
we look to make it ultimately it's defense, escapes, controls, and submissions. And the control is the aspect that we focus on the most, because that keeps not only the bad guy safe, but also keeps a good guy safe, where ultimately submission is the very last choice if we have to go that far. And typically when a human gets exhausted or fatigued, at that point the altercation is over.
I can't say yes or no to that. I could just say that there's Gracie. Okay, Hoist Gracie was the best, but he has a whole family of great Gracie Jiu-Jitsu people. So he could have trained with a Gracie, which is amazing. Like any of them are great. Any of them are great. I mean, he is the best. But I don't know if this guy trained with him. I don't know. I don't know about that. I wouldn't say that. I don't know.
So are you saying that the objective is to tire the other person out?
That is correct.
So you're not trying to break their arm.
That's correct.
You're trying to control them. And I suppose if they give you an opportunity to defend yourself in one of those ways, you might pursue that, but it's not offensive.
It would probably be the last thing that any of us would certainly look for, because a tired opponent really doesn't have the ability to do much of anything.
So is your school like a sports school, an offense
Civil.
school, or like a self-defense sort of school?
Self-defense.
Okay.
Very much a self-defense based school.
Now, briefly, you had said that it's about technique.
Correct.
Okay. And does that tie into like the heritage of your specific school?
It does indeed. Yes. So the heritage of our school is ultimately Elio Gracie Jiu-Jitsu.
Elio Gracie.
Elio, and he would be what we'd call be the grandmaster, the grandfather of it all.
And what did he do to change jiu-jitsu, and why?
He did exactly what we're speaking to, in the sense where he was not a menacing man. He weighed about 145 pounds. He would take challenge matches of all comers. But ultimately what he would do is he would put a no rules, no time limit match on there, and ultimately draw those matches out to the point where big, huge, super scary martial artists would ultimately be exhausted and have to give up.
So survival.
Correct.
So just to outlast your opponent.
That is correct.
He was a smaller guy.
Yes, correct.
So just tell me, what's the culture like, or the attitude in your gym with your students?
It's great, actually. We have a very, very good group of students who think self-defense is paramount. They take the time to make sure that they're learning the technique, because they understand that if they get tired, that techniques have no value. You have to be You have to have a little bit of energy left in your tank, but you have to know when to use what. And ultimately, again, just to reiterate, it's that human intelligence over brute strength. It's the backbone of our school.
Are the guys in your school trying to hurt each other?
No,
How important is safety?
paramount. In fact, we talk about it. When we have any new students, and then even throughout the day, even if you feel like the energy of the class is super excited, there's things that we're going to continue to reiterate where it's always tap. When we say tap, we tap on our opponents. We say verbal tap. We tap on the mat, but we typically want to make sure we're tapping on our opponents so that we have a good understanding of what's happening. But at that point, we also empower each student then to make their safety their own. So they have the ability to keep themselves safe as well as their training partners. But
So should I wait until it hurts to tap?
absolutely not. I'm known for telling people to tap when you feel the effectiveness of the technique and not when it hurts, because that's too far. So we know if our arm's going to not bend or not. You can tell.
So once you know they've kind of got you, but before it hurts.
Correct.
But what about my ego? I don't want to tap.
That's fair, right? But it doesn't take long. But the beautiful part of the culture that we have created is that we have students that are aware of what might be too far before you know. So if we have individuals that are brand new and they're coming in and they're just ready to go full tilt, we will put them with an advanced student, because that advanced student has the
I had a few issues with what he was saying too, Randy. Not a lot. It was okay, but I also felt that a little bit too.
ability to recognize danger before the new student does.
Okay. Do you guys have any sort of mottos or anything as far as ego?
Leave your ego at the door is a banner or it's actually on a sign that's right before you even head back to locker rooms to change.
Why is that important?
It's just a nice reminder, and it just lets everybody know when they come in, and primarily for people who come in off the street who don't have a full understanding of what Gracie Jiu-Jitsu is, it puts that out in the forefront for everybody just to kind of understand that this school is not about trying to be the biggest, baddest, toughest individual, but we're here for self-defense to make each person better.
Okay. Are most of the guys at your school, are they fighters? Are they MMA? Are they fighting cages?
No,
What do they do?
everything. They're all hobbyists. You go from school teachers to lawyers to doctors to mothers to fathers to grandparents.
Do people know about this weakness Jeremiah has?
They are aware.
So are people, I mean, is it your understanding or has it been your experience that people are mindful of the fact that Jeremiah has a neck injury?
They're mindful of the fact, but he also doesn't put himself into a position for it to be compromised.
What? You don't eat kangaroo, do you? No, don't eat them. They're too cute. I know they're mean. Oh man, Gracie versus a kangaroo. Whew.
Okay.
But with that said, we use it as a training tool because everybody that comes in may have a pre-existing condition. That doesn't mean jiu-jitsu isn't for you. It just means we need to adapt.
But I mean, Jeremiah has this injury. Shouldn't he just quit this thing that he loves to do, or is it adaptable for him?
It is absolutely adaptable. Yeah. And
So it could be, it's something he can do with relative safely and still be able to enjoy his life.
for instruction, yes. Yeah.
So I want to show you just a few photos and videos that we got from the defense attorney.
Okay.
So we can talk about whether or not those are the types of things that you guys do at your gym.
Okay.
Okay. So these videos would be in the stipulated exhibits folder. And I'd like to start with Exhibit T.
That's what my ex used to do. Hunt with bow and arrow.
So I'm showing, I want to play the video for our witness, this Exhibit T. So did you have an opportunity to watch that video?
I did.
Okay. What did that look like to you?
That looked to me like someone forcing a submission.
Do you guys force submissions?
We do not.
Okay. Who's that guy?
I believe that he goes by Chewy.
Okay. Is Chewy a Gracie Jiu-Jitsu guy?
He is not.
Okay. So do you teach that what you just saw at your gym?
We do not.
Do you guys do what you just saw at your do you guys do that at your gym?
No.
Okay. And from what you've been observing of Jeremiah since the accident, have you ever seen him put himself in or allow himself to be in that situation?
No, sir.
Okay. And then I'd like to play you. Was that, did you have a chance to see that?
I did.
Okay. Would you ever teach a technique using that kind of speed?
Negative.
Okay. Does that look like Elio Gracie's jiu-jitsu?
That does not look like Elio Gracie Jiu-Jitsu.
Again, is that Gracie jiu-jitsu?
It is not Gracie Jiu-Jitsu.
Okay. What happens if you see a guy doing that at your gym?
It's halted quite quickly.
Okay. And the guy applying that choke as he jerks his arm around, that would be, I guess, the good guy. He's showing the move, I suppose.
That's correct. Yes, he could be demonstrating that.
And so even if you guys taught a ridiculous move like that, Jeremiah would be the one applying that choke.
No. Well, he may be applying it, but he would not be receiving it.
Okay. Okay. And I'd like to go to E. I'd like to play E for the witness.
Me too.
Did you have an opportunity to see that video?
I did see that video.
What did that setting look like? What was taking place there?
That was a competition-based scenario.
Okay. It was a competition. You ever see Jeremiah do any competitions since his injury?
No.
Okay. And was that a Gracie Jiu-Jitsu move that you guys teach?
No.
Is that something that goes on in your gym?
No.
I'd like to play H for the witness. Are those Gracie Jiu-Jitsu guys?
They are not, to my knowledge.
I don't know why I have to say this, but I do have to say this, especially to you, Victoria. Don't do that at home. Don't try any of the moves you see here at home. Victoria, no matter what Michael does, do not choke him out.
And is that how you would teach rear naked choke?
Absolutely not.
Have you seen Jeremiah teach your version of the rear naked choke?
Yes.
Okay. And which one of those guys would he have been?
He would have been the guy who would be on the back applying this strangle.
Not the guy getting the choke.
Correct. That's typically my job.
Okay. Now in that same folder, we have a PDF labeled Gracie photos. I'd like to show those to the witness, starting with page 1 of that PDF. Can you see that photo?
Yes.
Okay. Can you see that Jeremiah is in that photo?
Yes.
Okay. Now that goes back to February of 2017. Can you tell that from the picture?
I cannot tell that.
Okay. Well, if I suggested to you that that is what it says on the big screen, would you have any reason to dispute that?
No.
Okay. So that would have been before the surgery. Is that right? I mean, sorry, strike that. That would have been before the accident. Or shortly after, I guess.
I don't recall. Yeah, it could be.
Let's go to number 2.
For the accident?
He said shortly after.
Shortly after, correct myself. So February 26th of 2017, it looks like, what are we looking at here?
It looks like Gracie Jiu-Jitsu Fort Wayne Post congratulating Jeremiah for traveling to the Gracie Academy in Torrance for his Women Empowered certification.
Do you know whether or not for him to have gotten that women's empowerment certification, if that required him to do anything that would have compromised his neck?
It would not.
It would not have. Okay. And then page 3. Can you see the picture you're looking at here on page 3 of that exhibit?
Yes.
Okay. What do you see here?
I see Jeremiah applying an arm lock.
Okay. So does this look like what would be a demonstration to you?
Yes.
Okay. And is Jeremiah the good guy or the bad guy?
He would be the good guy.
So is this the type of demonstrating that you would be seeing him doing now since the accident?
Yes.
Okay. Any concerns there about his neck?
No, sir.
Okay. And page 5. And what about here? What are you seeing here? Is Jeremiah the good guy or the bad guy?
He's a good guy.
Any concerns about his neck from a jiu-jitsu standpoint?
No, sir.
Okay. Page 5. Okay. Can you see what's going on here?
Yes.
Is this Jeremiah teaching?
Yes.
Is he the bad guy in any of these?
No.
Okay. And number 6. Okay. Would you say he is the bad guy in this one? Jeremiah.
I would say yes, he is the bad guy in this
Okay.
one.
Would this be one of the moves that he can do safely without his neck being compromised?
Yes.
So would this demonstrate how there are some he can do and some he can't do?
Yes, that's correct. There's some you can do and some you cannot do.
I would pass the witness.
Thank you, Mr. Mill. Ms. Pollock, cross, please.
Good afternoon, Mr. Wright. How are you?
I'm well, ma'am. Thank you.
All right. Are you aware that Jeremiah Jackson has earned his black belt in jiu-jitsu since this accident?
I am aware.
All right. Tell the jury, if you would, what is required to earn a black belt in jiu-jitsu?
You have to have a fundamental understanding of a little over 600 techniques. You have to have been able to demonstrate the knowledge of those.
What moves do you have to do?
I'm not sure how to answer that, man. There's 600. You have to be able to work from a guard position, from a mount position, from a side control position, a back mount position.
No, it's a bit more complicated than that. So Jeremiah was driving down the road and a driver of a company vehicle, I think, turned in front of him and they got into a car accident. And Jeremiah got hurt. So Jeremiah is suing the company that owned the truck or car. I think it was a truck, company truck that turned in front of him or whatever created the accident. They have claimed that they are at fault. The company claimed they're at fault. The other driver claimed they were at fault. So this isn't who's at fault. That's done. This is just a trial for damages. How much he would win in damages, because his medical bills are well over $100,000 at this point. So this is a trial to see how much damages he would get.
So you have to do several hundred moves to get your black belt in jiu-jitsu?
A culmination over time. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now you and Mr. Jackson are Facebook friends, correct?
That's correct.
How often are you on Facebook?
Probably too often.
Okay. So you're pretty up to speed with what your friends are doing?
I believe
Okay.
so.
All right. Have you seen multiple posts from Mr. Jackson since this accident showing him off-roading?
Negative. No, ma'am.
Have you seen any?
Not to my recollection.
Okay. Have you seen any posts about him working on cars since the accident?
No, ma'am.
Have you seen any posts from him about doing work around the house?
No, ma'am.
You testified that he's put on some weight since the accident, kind of developed a dad bod. You know anything about the extent of his alcohol consumption that may have contributed to that?
I do not, ma'am.
Tell me about the involvement of the neck in jiu-jitsu generally, in Gracie Jiu-Jitsu generally.
It is, I mean, as a keeper of your head, you have to be very mindful of your posture and your body positioning. But based on that, you can keep your neck safe based on frames and distance management.
Is the neck a constant
I was
target and
late.
you're always trying to make your neck as
Very
small as
late.
possible? Would you agree with that statement?
I would not.
You would not?
I would not.
Okay. That was a statement Mr. Jackson made under oath in his deposition. You don't agree with that?
Okay. I do not. There's many other limbs that you can attack instead.
Okay. You're always trying to make your neck the smallest possible target on the planet. You disagree with
45.
that?
Yes.
Okay. And then he also referred to putting the turtle back in the shell with respect to retracting your neck. Is that something you would agree is common in jiu-jitsu, Gracie Jiu-Jitsu?
Yes, that is a statement. Yes.
All right. And so explain to me how that's done, the putting the turtle back in the shell.
Turtle back in the shell would be just like your shoulders coming up towards your ears.
Okay. Is that called the shrug?
That would be a shrug.
Yeah. Shoulders play a huge issue in shrugs, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And that's trying to make your neck as small as possible? Is that why you shrug?
I guess it limits the access to your neck, but I don't believe it has anything to do with your neck size.
Would you agree with the statement that there's always the danger of someone wrapping your neck to try to get you in a chokehold in jiu-jitsu?
Yes, ma'am.
And so do you try to prevent that or stave that off by putting the turtle back in the shell and kind of reducing the target?
That is one possibility.
What other possibilities are?
So Jeremiah is claiming that, you know, his quality of life has been drastically changed because of this car accident. He had his neck fused, like they removed a disc and then they fused it. So you know, he can't live the life that he was living prior to the accident. He can't do what he used to do. So the defense is saying this is just one of the parts of his life. They're saying that, well, the people, yeah, the defense are saying, wait, well, you know, he's not that injured if he does jujitsu and other things.
Would be framing or posture control or not allowing them to get near you.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you're fine.
Now explain what framing is.
So framing is going to be like where I start to use my other limbs, where you start to build bone frames in there so that people can't get to your vitals.
Would you agree that a rear naked choke hold is the most common move in Gracie Jiu-Jitsu?
I would not agree to that.
All right. So again, Mr. Jackson told us that in his deposition in 2021. You disagree?
I do.
All right. And would you agree that a rear naked choke is where you wrap the neck, lock it up, hold it for 10 seconds, and your opponent goes to sleep?
That'd be a fair definition.
Okay. So if you don't think that's the most common, what do you think is the most common move in Gracie Jiu-Jitsu?
It's going to be very dependent upon the grapplers, what they have for potential size, things of that nature.
A rear naked choke cuts off blood to the brain, correct?
That's correct.
All right. Is that, you say it's not the most common, but it's certainly common in Gracie Jiu-Jitsu?
It is common, yes, ma'am.
All right. Tell me what a flying arm bar is, or tell the jury.
A flying armbar would be where you're going to leave the ground, have one leg across the face, one leg across the chest in order to extend the arm to its maximum length in order to put the pressure upon the elbow.
Is that a Gracie Jiu-Jitsu move?
It is not.
You do not do that at Gracie
No,
Jiu-Jitsu?
ma'am.
Okay. So if Mr. Jackson testified under oath in his deposition that he went to do a flying arm bar and fell on his right side and was injured, you don't know why he would have been doing that because that's not a Gracie thing.
Correct. That would be outside of curriculum.
Okay. What about arm lock and leg lock?
In curriculum.
In curriculum. So Gracie, you guys do that at Gracie.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you describe to the jury what each of those are?
So an arm lock is going to be typically from either the bottom of guard or mount, where you're going to maximize your body potential versus their elbow. If it's going to be a knee or a leg lock,
I don't understand. Will you please demonstrate on that, lawyer?
it's likely going to be a knee. It's basically a lever type principle where you're going to have everything extended and you're going to be pulling on one end while the other end is isolated.
So the rear naked choke, you guys do at Gracie.
Yes, ma'am.
Flying arm bar, you do not do at Gracie.
That is correct.
What about a back mount?
Back mount is something we would do at Gracie.
Can you explain to the jury what that is?
Back mount is where I have control ultimately of what I consider to be four corners of a human anatomy. Corner 1, 2, 3, 4. You're looking to contain that human while you are not doing anything other than control.
What kind of neck involvement is in the back mount?
Virtually none.
Okay. What about rolling? Do you do that at Gracie?
Yes, ma'am.
Explain that to me.
Rolling is where you practice the techniques of what you have against another human. So it's ultimately kinetic chess.
Okay. What's the neck involvement in that?
It depends on the agreement of the role. If you know that you have an issue of some sort, then you're going to say, hey, this is like my neck's a little sore, or it could be a shoulder, it could be an elbow, it could be a wrist, whatever. At that point, your partner then knows to steer clear of that, at which point then that's really a bit of a non-issue. But as far as grappling with rolling, there's potential for your neck as it's going to be involved.
Okay. So if have you seen on August 2nd, 2017, a post from Mr. Jackson on Facebook that he had rolled hard that day?
I do not recall.
What does that mean to you as a Gracie Jiu-Jitsu instructor, rolling hard?
It just means that he got a good sweat and then he was active in motion and got some good movement in that day.
Okay. Triangle choke, Gracie Jiu-Jitsu move?
Yes, ma'am.
Explain that to me.
Triangle choke is where an arm ultimately ends up being pressed on one side. The leg is going to come across the shoulder blades in the back, and it's going to be the similar with a rear naked choke, and then it blocks the carotid arteries on both sides of the neck.
All right, it blocks the carotid arteries on both sides of the neck. How?
Just through pressure.
Through pressure with the hand?
Nope, through the thigh. It's going to be a thigh on one side and your opponent's shoulder on the opposite side.
So someone's wrapping their leg around your neck?
Yes.
Okay, that sounds fun. Okay.
Objection.
All right, just a second. I might want to show you a couple videos myself. Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I don't want to block you guys. Let me stop.
Yes. Oh, it is. It is.
This is how I used to dress my kids every day. This is also how I get men to stay for the whole date. Get back here. It kind of looks fun. I'm sorry, that looks fun.
Mr. Wright, have you ever seen that video before?
I have not.
Okay. Did you recognize Mr. Jackson in any of it?
I did.
Okay. Which move did you see him making in that video?
Some teaching from the top.
Explain that to me.
So he had one individual where he was wrapping their neck from the top position as he was looking up towards the student body.
Okay. Did you notice that?
I'm sorry, teaching from the top is completely different than what he just described. I'm sorry. It's true.
The date of that promotional video?
I did not.
All right. It was April of 2017. You weren't aware when that went up on the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu website?
No.
Okay. What were the other
Mental
moves that we
jiu-jitsu.
saw depicted on that Gracie Jiu-Jitsu?
There appeared to be some arm locks. It looked like there was a hip toss. Then lots of control.
Hip toss, does that involve the neck?
No.
Okay. And what did you say? Control, a lot of control?
Yeah, the control mechanisms, yes. You saw
Okay.
a lot of controlled grappling.
Controlled grappling. And is there neck involvement in that?
Not typically.
Okay. Are you trying to reduce the size of or the length of your neck during grappling?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So at what point are you could you be subjected to a rear naked hold, choke hold, that you need to reduce the size of your neck?
It would be typically when your opponent would get to your back. So most of the time, the way that it would be taught is going to be from a mount position where an assailant decides that they're not going to give up fighting and they turn to their belly and they're going to be face down underneath you, at which point you'd be arguably on all fours.
Okay. The jury recently heard testimony from one of Mr. Jackson's doctors about there having been an incident where his head and neck were pressed into the mat. You have any idea what that would have been from?
No, ma'am. Okay.
Are there several moves that can involve your head and neck being pressed into the mat?
I don't understand the situation to answer that question, honestly.
Okay. Thank you. Those are all my questions, Mr. Wright.
Redirect, Mr. Mill. Thank you, Ms. Pollock.
Ms. Pollock had brought up some Facebook posts to you, I guess implying that maybe she had seen or that you should have seen some landscaping or hard rolling or off-roading pictures, right?
Correct.
You wonder why she didn't show those to you?
Your Honor, objection. Completely inappropriate.
Sustained.
Rude. No.
Is it possible you didn't see those photos because they don't exist?
Objection. Same objection, Your Honor. Asking to speculate, first of all.
Sustained.
This question about the flying armbar.
Yes.
She alleged about Jeremiah's testimony and him having done a flying armbar. Is there a difference between if I were to do that off my feet and off my knees?
Yes.
Okay. And then in terms of the questions she was asking you about that, when that happened, would you like to know when that happened in terms of that was before or after his accident?
Seems pertinent.
Okay. Could you potentially do that safely without a neck injury?
You could,
Okay.
especially if you had a very strong person of which you were applying that to.
And if I have a neck injury, is that something that I'll probably then avoid doing after that?
Absolutely.
Okay. And the video you watched, she was asking about this move that Jeremiah was doing on somebody, which was a choke, right? Should Jeremiah be concerned about his neck when he's choking someone else out?
No.
Okay. And from what your testimony was earlier, if someone were to get in a position where they were approaching his neck or getting ready to touch his neck, would it be possible for him to tap before they actually applied the choke?
Yes.
Okay. And from what you've observed of him in the gym since his accident, is that what he's been doing?
Yes. Very rarely is he ever in that position of which he needs to tap.
Because you said earlier he doesn't actually roll. You hardly ever see him rolling after class or at all.
I have not seen him rolling after class.
And when he's instructing, he's not having that put on him. He's putting that on someone else.
Correct.
In fact, at the very beginning of that video that you saw was Jeremiah just straight armed. Someone was coming at him for a double leg and he just kind of pushed him off.
If that was him, then that's correct.
Was he shrugging when he was doing that?
No.
Okay. If I'm shrugging, am I moving my neck or am I moving my shoulders?
Appears to be shoulders.
Okay. So if I'm moving my shoulders, I don't know how you know much about I don't know what you know about the spine, but if I'm moving my shoulders, is my spine moving?
I don't think so.
Okay. She asked you about a triangle choke.
Yes.
Have you been observing Jeremiah to have people practice the triangle choke on him since his accident?
No.
Okay. I have no further questions.
Thank you, Mr. Mill. Recross.
Just a couple follow-up, Your Honor, or maybe one. Mr. Wright, which Gracie Jiu-Jitsu location do you teach at?
Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, Fort Wayne.
Okay, and Mr. Jackson, he teaches at a couple different ones, right?
We both did previously. The LaGrange school is no longer open.
Okay, so is he full-time at the Fort Wayne then, one as well?
Yes.
All right, thank you. One moment, please, Your Honor.
Sure.
Okay, that's all we got, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Pollock. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, do you have any questions for Mr. Wright? If you do, raise your hand. I see no hands raised. Mr. Mell, is this witness released from his subpoena?
Yes.
Ms. Pollock, released from his subpoena?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you for your testimony. You may step down. You're released from your subpoena. Watch your step at that swinging door. You got to step down.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're all jurors in this case. I must tell you now, and I'll repeat this again. Each time you're permitted to separate, generally you should not express any opinion about the case before it is submitted to you for deliberation. However, you are permitted to discuss the evidence presented in this case among yourselves in the jury room during recesses from trial. All jurors and alternates must be present. During these discussions, you must reserve judgment about the outcome of the case until your deliberations begin. You're admonished that you may not discuss the facts of the case with anyone other than your fellow jurors. You may not listen to discussions among or receive information from other people about the case. You may not discuss this case with me, the lawyers, the parties, or with any of the witnesses, members of the media, or anyone else. This includes posting information, text messaging, email, internet chat rooms, blogs, or social websites. You should not listen to, read, or watch anything about the case from any source. You may not investigate the case, conduct experiments, or attempt to gain any specialized knowledge about the case outside the courtroom, and it is highly improper for you to do so. You are to consider and decide this case only upon the evidence received during the course of the trial in the courtroom, not from any outside source. You're not permitted to use electronic devices while in attendance at trial, during discussion, or during deliberations unless specifically authorized by the court. I'm going to release you for the evening to go home and have dinner. You're going to be back in my jury deliberation room by 8:15 a.m. tomorrow morning. If everybody gets here on time and we're ready to go, we may start a little bit early. Leave your notepads and your pens at your seat. Leave my precious iPads at your seat. And I will see you tomorrow morning. Bailiff.
All right.
Close that door behind you, bailiff, please. You can be seated. I'm going to go with who was last up. If you have a record that you need to make, I'm going to let either attorney do it. Mr. Mell, any record you need to make?
No.
Ms. Pollock, any record for the defense?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, let's recess. We're going to talk about logistics off the record in a minute.
Okay, I'm going to let you guys decide what we do next. We can do a little bit of Judge Fleischer maybe Monday that we didn't get in, or Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday, or we can do a little bit more of this trial with the next witness. I have it ready. I have tomorrow's ready already today. So, do we want to hop over to Harris County, or do we want to go with more Gracie Jiu-Jitsu to end this stream today? I'm not streaming Monday. I am not streaming Monday, but I can stream his from Monday, Fozzie. No, right now. What are we going to do right now? Right this second. Do I click Judge Fleischer's stream from Monday previously, 5 days ago, or do I go with the next person in this trial? I got one for Jiu-Jitsu. I got a dang it. I got a wrestle button. which is kind of cool. I got some gibbery, Josh. Nope, can't say that. I wanted to try. Oh, nope, I have to go to Judge Fleischer for a little bit. Yep, because I have it in my description and everything. So we're going to Judge Fleischer for a little bit. I have to. I can't lie in my description. I can't be a liar. And I think in my description I have Friday's suit jacket on. So we're going to Friday. We're going to Friday, guys. That's what we have to do, or I'd be a liar. I'd be like clickbait. I don't clickbait. Maybe I clickbait. I don't know. Maybe I'm just an accidental clickbaiter sometimes. I miss Judge Fleischer. His interview was so good. It was just so good. All right.
Hello. Yeah, no, he needs to sign conditions and then he can go. And then the phone number for Robert's on the reset. If you, yeah, just circle it because I guess what
I'll
we'll do is
bring
we'll
a
send him out to
GoPro
wait
with me
outside.
on
for his
Monday
lawyer.
when I take off.
Come up, sir. Mr. Lat.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Will you please tell the defendant that we're gonna have him sign his bond conditions?
Yeah, Mr. Manujya, તમારો જે બોન્ડ છે ને તેને તમે સહી કરવાની છે ત્યાં વિક્ટોરિયા પાસે.
The lawyer's phone number will be on the reset and we will circle it for him.
જે તમારો લોયર વકીલનો જે નંબર છે ને એના ઉપર લખેલો છે અને તમારી તારીખ આપશે હમણાં.
And then he's
Really
welcome
do.
to wait for his lawyer outside.
અને તમારે છે ને આજને આજ જ થઈ જશે એટલે તમારે તમારા વકીલ માટે બહાર ઊભું રહેવાનું છે.
I don't know if he's gonna show up, but he's welcome to wait for the lawyer or just, go and
એ
contact.
કહે છે કે તું હમણાં જો વકીલ માટે ઊભો રહે તો બહુ સારું, તારું આજે ને આજે કામ પતી જાય.
Van Halen is GOAT.
Okay, this way, please. Andrew. Hey, did you read the PC on your guy? Okay, it had some very concerning things. He's got a backpack, gun, knife, a mask, change of clothes, weed, and something else. What is it? Oh, and a taser.
That's what's
So
in my
what I
purse.
did was, I'm asking him not to use alcohol or dope. I'm testing him right now. And then I'm asking him not to stay out in the middle of the night. Not to stay out in the middle of the night. Like I'm gonna give him a curfew of probably like 10 o'clock, something like that, but I don't want him out in the middle of the night. Just, after that, I don't know, when we get back, we'll see what the drug test shows. If it's just weed, I'll have him come back and test in 30 days just to make sure he's not using.
That's not waiting for him to come back.
Okay, thanks. Oh,
Don't forget,
yeah,
just remind me.
Yeah.
Our Spanish arraignment, page 19.
oh, we have more. You lied.
Well, no, page came back.
Lie like a rug. Okay, ready?
Leave her alone.
Bottom of page
You
19.
stop.
Go ahead and say that.
Stephen, he goes with you.
Tujaques. Tujaques Palomino.
No, but I'm a human being and I was late today. A lot. Fozzie, you shush.
Yeah, that's right.
I just seriously think that maybe for 1 week, we're gonna have Fozzie get all the content together. All of it. Yep. And then make the videos. And then I'm just gonna play them. Fozzie's gonna get all the content, make the videos, and I will just play them every single day. And your video has to be to me by 3 a.m. because I need to check it over before I start at 4:30. And you can't be late. I'm guessing. I don't know, but I'm guessing there would be a lot of X-rated material in our in our streams. How did that get there?
Good morning, Mr. Dujakas. You are charged with assault and bodily injury. You are facing a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present during questions and interviews. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, sir.
On August 23rd, 2024, officers were dispatched to an assault at the Neos Motorsport car dealership in Harris County, Texas. Complainant stated that the defendant came into the business for a car part, but after being told that they do not have it, the defendant reached over the complainant's desk and struck him in the face with an open knee.
11 to 3?
Got up,
Okay.
walked around his desk. Defendant got into a fighting stance with both hands up and swung at the complainant a second time. Complainant stated that they both got into a fist fight inside of the office, and the defendant was being held down until police arrived. Complainant felt pain to his face, forehead, the top of his head from being punched. The complainant stated that there is surveillance video of this.
Mr. Tujakas, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. Are you a United States citizen? I don't know if that's true or not. And quite frankly, I don't care. I want you to know that if you go to jail and immigration finds you and there's any problem with your paperwork, they will put a detainer on you and you will be stuck in custody until this case is over with. And then you will be shipped off to immigration and you will sit in immigration custody for another 6 to 9 months waiting for whatever to happen will happen. I will protect my streets, my county with everything I can. And if I find that you're a public danger, Mr. Tujakas, I'm going to lock you up in a heartbeat. I'm ordering you not to go back to the store whatsoever, not to have contact with the complaining witness, and not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs. If I find that you're using, if I find that you've become a public danger, into jail you go. I'm now going to have you go to Victoria. We're going to get you out of here to hire a lawyer. So you will sign a reset. After that, you're going to meet with Rachel for your bond conditions, and after that, you'll be free to go. Heed this warning. You pick up any new cases or you try to assault any other persons, I will do the same thing to you in jail. Do you understand?
This way. Go ahead and sign for your reset.
What if it's Fozzie and Linus doing a stream?
All right, Judge, there's one more. Can I give you a case number?
I would love
Yeah.
that. If my neighbor did that to me, I would love that.
What is it?
It's this one. Mira? Miro, Christian, come on up.
You Christian Mira. You speak English.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mira, you're charged with either, I don't know if this is just having a false ID or a false driver's license.
Yeah.
You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, sir. Okay.
On August 22nd, 2024, in Harris County, Texas, an officer discovered a vehicle parked and running near an area with recent burglary of vehicles in a shopping center. Officer made contact with the defendant where he advised that he did not have a current driver's license and only an ID in Texas. The officer noticed the odor of marijuana emanating from the vehicle. The officer requested that the defendant step out of the vehicle to conduct a probable cause search of the vehicle and search his person. The defendant stated that he and his wife regularly smoked marijuana in their car daily. The defendant stated that he did not have marijuana in the vehicle at the time. While searching his person, the officer discovered a driver's license in his wallet. While examining the driver's license further, the officer discovered that it had the same numbers as his provided ID, which officer suspected or knew to be a deceptive ID or driver's license. The defendant stated that he got the fake driver's license from a friend. The defendant then stated that he uses the fake driver's license to get into clubs because they think that his Florida driver's license is fake. The officers cannot locate a Florida driver's license for the defendant.
Mr. Mayor, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. I'm going to drug test you 35 days from today. And if you test positive for marijuana, guess what happens?
Yeah.
Right. You're not allowed to smoke marijuana anymore. And I'm making that a condition of your bond. If you continue to smoke, then into jail you go. If you stop now, then when I test you, when you come back, you will not have it in your system. If you do, that means you've continued to smoke, and I don't care what you're doing. You try to come up here, CBD, this, ABC, that, I don't care. Into jail you go. Likewise, if you do not have a Texas driver license, which you don't, you are not allowed to drive. You will be signing an affidavit. This is a promise that you're making to me that you're not going to drive. I don't care if there's a burning building and you need to save 50 people. Don't drive. You cannot justify by any reason. If you want to drive, go get a license, get liability insurance, and then I will allow you to drive. But if I find that you're driving, then you'll be doing an extended period of time in jail. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
We're going to get you out of here to hire a lawyer. So first, I'm going to have you come up here, swear to us that you're not going to drive. After that, you'll get with Victoria for your bond conditions. You're then going to sign with Rachel for your bond conditions. And then after that, you'll be free to go. You will be drug tested upon your return. So get ready. Forewarned is fair warned. Come on.
All right, Judge, one more.
Hey, man, what's, I mean,
Page 22.
get your sister.
Right, come on
You're
up.
lying all over the place.
His jacket is flowers.
Right this way.
I don't know either. Hey, Victoria, who's this?
This is right on page
22?
22.
Got it.
Bottom of page 22.
Yeah.
Rachel, are you ready for this one or not yet? All right, I'll send you the box.
All right, you are Myron Wright. Yes, okay. Mr. Wright, you're charged with interference with the duties of a public servant. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
On August 22nd, 2024, officers were dispatched to a gas station in Harris County, Texas, where the defendant was stealing items from the gas station store. A witness saw the defendant steal a pack of cigarettes and a pair of sunglasses. The witness stated that the defendant walked out of the gas station, passing all points of sale with the cigarettes and the sunglasses on his head. The officers then received another dispatch to another gas station where the defendant was punching doors inside of the gas station and stealing items. The second witness stated that the defendant walked into the store and walked behind the register and grabbed a pack of cigarettes. The second witness stated that the
Wait, are you
defendant.
saying this is a different place?
The second witness stated that the defendant then started to punch the cooler doors. The second witness also asked the defendant to leave several times, but the defendant refused. Officers arrived on the scene and ordered the defendant to put his hands behind his back, but the defendant refused and walked away from the officer. The officer began placing handcuffs on the defendant's wrist and the defendant resisted. The defendant turned around and leaned his right shoulder into the officer's left shoulder, trying to push the officer away. The defendant then asked the officer if he knew who he was and then stated, "I am God." The defendant continued to ignore the commands of the officer and attempted to walk out of the store after the officer attempted to tase him. The defendant continued to resist the arrest from the officers.
Mr. Wright, I'm gonna find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. Why such aggression, man? What's going on? I hope it's not dope. If I touch you now, what's gonna show up? Really? What's really gonna show up? How old are you, sir? What do you do for a living?
Work at the airport.
Do you need clearance or some kind of security clearance to be working at George Bush? What do you think happens if you pick up a theft case? I'm gonna find, like I said, I'm gonna find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. How much money do you make a month, Mr. Wright? Can you afford a lawyer? I'd rather have hair. It's not gonna happen. That ship has sailed. You need a lawyer. This is something that I tell you that if you end up with a conviction on your record, you're not gonna be keeping that job. If you like that job, you gotta fight this case because it will impact you and it will get you fired, especially at the airport. Because at some point you may even need clearance if you're gonna continue working there. And this, it'll kill it. Where do you live? Who do you live with? Tell me about yourself.
Live with my mom.
Okay. We're gonna reset your case. I'm gonna give you time to hire a lawyer. If you have any issues, come back and we can talk. But I want you to start calling around. You need a lawyer because I'm telling you, this will affect you. And if you like your job, going to the gas stations and pulling these kinds of stunts, it's only gonna hurt you, man. You make enough money that you shouldn't be toying around like that. So that's what it tells me. Either you're on something or I don't know. Don't use any dope. I'm going to test you. And if I find that you're using, I will put you in jail. You will not get any more PR bonds if you start acting a fool in the free world. Do you understand, Mr. Wright? I'm gonna have you sign a reset with Victoria. After that, I'm gonna have you get with Rachel and then we'll send you on your way. Be good. Don't pick up any new cases, all right? Okay.
All right, Judge.
So, hold on, Victoria. You have at the bottom of page 22. Right. So no going back to either of those gas stations and no weapons. No alcohol or dope as well. Random testing.
Tokyo, I'll check it out. I will check it out.
Okay, who's
All
next?
right, Judge Stage 6, Castro, come on up. Judge, quick question on page 10, top of page 10.
In a second, let's just do this. Okay,
That state's on condition?
yeah. And I think that we've already got it ready to go too.
Okay, great. Thanks.
You, Miss Castro David? Do you speak English?
Yes, sir.
Miss Castro David, you're charged with assault of a family member. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. You're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you. You just had an assault dismissed, not 2 months ago.
August 24th, 2024, law enforcement officers were dispatched to an assault at an apartment complex in Durst County, Texas. The complainant and the defendant, who were dating for about 6 months, were in verbal altercation when the defendant started hitting the complainant with a charging cable multiple times and forcing him out of the apartment, causing pain.
Same complaining witness as the last assault?
I believe so. I'm not familiar with the last one, but yes.
Do you know any dope or alcohol as a result of this as well?
No. I don't see them.
Ms. Castro, I'm sending you for a drug test right now. I want to know what, if anything, is in your system. What do you do for a living? What do you do for a living?
In houses?
No.
It's time for you to hire a lawyer. We keep giving you lawyers. You keep picking up cases. No more. Hey. Please.
This one's free trial?
I'm sending her for a drug test,
Oh.
and then she's going to be THA after this. Ms. Castro, I'm ordering you now not to have contact with the complaining witness in this case. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
A protective order has been issued in this case. What that means is that you cannot commit family violence or an assault against Yuri Vanegas. You were not allowed to commit an act in furtherance of an offense under section 42.072 of the Texas Penal Code, which is the stalking statute. You cannot threaten, harass, use another person to communicate a threat or harassing behavior. You cannot be in possession of a weapon or go within 200 feet of 315 Benmar Drive, apartment 042. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
If you violate this court order, they will file an additional charge of violation of a protective order against you. And that's when it's really going to go sideways, because that's when your bond starts hitting $10,000 to $20,000. Understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'm going to have you sign a reset. We're going to send you for a drug test. We're going to have you come back, and then I'm going to speak to you.
Signor. Signor.
This one.
He wasn't here.
Well, he's here now, but they're taking a trial date. So I'm like, what? Are you skipping your part?
What?
Yeah.
No, I need to talk to
Okay.
Brent. Come on up.
I thought so. I think they're trying to avoid you.
No, are you taking over for Mr. DeGuider?
He's gonna be with me, but
Are y'all still going to do it together?
yeah, I might think it was wrong.
Okay. Is he okay?
Yeah, I mean,
I know of all the health issues and everything, but I don't know because we haven't, he usually comes here and we just haven't seen him the last at least 2 different times.
It feels like I get along with Judge better than he does.
Dude, that's silly. Tell him I like him. We have no issues with him. I have issues with the client that just picks up cases and does whatever he does. You know? So really, tell him that I like him. I have no problem. And tell him that I appreciate his. I like it when, dude, I'm never going to begrudge someone for fighting, but I'm not going to let your client railroad. And that's it. So
I'll call him. I'll pass it on. We're just not gonna work this one out.
that's okay. I understand. And really, is he here? Because we called him.
Yes, sir.
And he wasn't.
He was here. He was here.
Judge, this one,
You want to set up for trial?
Yes.
So I put him in jail because he violated bond conditions. He just bonded back.
Okay.
That felony he picked up a long time ago.
Correct.
Unless he picked up a new
Victoria, you
one.
look
No.
lovely
That
today.
one he picked up like 2 months after this case, but
Okay.
now they're a bond violation, so he's going out.
So we'll stick to the trial date.
Is it already set for trial? No. Set it. Okay.
Yeah, this isn't a trial, so this is just his first day.
Mind having him come up, I'm gonna have him the same bond conditions, and I'm gonna tell him next time you muck up, it's gonna be $30,000. Okay, get him, because I'm really gonna tell him about it. No, I'm not gonna take it out. No, but I'm gonna tell him, you don't like it? I'm happy that you don't like it. Stop picking crap up. You know what I mean? Please. Thanks, Frank.
It's on page 9.
I can't look at my phone because
I'm sorry.
yesterday I checked my phone while I was live streaming, and you sent me a text saying don't look at your phone while you're live streaming. So now, nope, I can't check that text. Can't.
Is the ankle monitor annoying you? Stop picking up cases, man. That's when we take it off. Stop violating bond conditions. Then we take it off. Mr. Green, the monitor will remain on your ankle. The conditions that you had last time will remain in place now. And if you violate the condition this time, I will triple, if not quadruple your bond next time. At some point, someone is going to stop ponying the money up for you to get you out. As it stands now, so you want to set the case for trial?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Green, I'm going to tell you that today is your plea deadline. If you want to set this case for trial, I'm happy to do it. What offers do you have on the table now, guys? Now, is that the only thing that you have offered now? Okay, they've offered you time served on this case, meaning that if you were to plead, you walk out of here, we're done today. Today's the last day for you to do that, though. You can either accept it or reject it. If you reject it, that's fine. We will set your case for trial, but I'm going to tell you, once you set this case for trial, I will not take any more plea bargain offers. I will not take any, I want to plead guilty to this done. No. Once we set this, you will be put to trial. Do you understand? You don't need to make the decision now in front of us. Just go outside, talk with Brent, tell me what you want to do. If you want to set it, we're happy to do it. We've given you a trial date now. I expect you to live up to the bond conditions. That's it, but no more offers after this.
Your Honor, I can tell you, we spoke for about an hour last night. It's a guilt innocence thing. He does not want to plead guilty.
Okay, that's fine. Are you sure? Just because I want you to know that once we set it, no going back. Okay, all right, Frank. Thanks, guys. Yes, but Mr. Green has in the need to stay to sign bond conditions with Rachel to redo it because he just got out of jail. And then after that, he'll be free to go.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, Mr. Green.
Mr. Strong, right this way, Green.
Hi, Hugh. Good morning.
I have Todd Miller.
Is this the person that wasn't here yesterday?
Yes, well, yeah, we didn't have a.
Is he here now?
Yes, he's here. He's in the jury box.
Come up, Mr. Miller. Just same bond conditions as before. Just green. Yeah, he just got out of jail because he had a BVR. So we put him in jail. He
It's
just
called a
bonded out.
hug.
Just want to redo everything
Thank
that
you.
was for. There was a curfew. I just don't remember off the top of my head. Just the same thing, whatever it was.
Don't be a baby. Just tap out.
I'm not happy with you. Mr. Miller,
Order in the court.
you are on probation, on felony probation for credit card abuse. While you're on probation, you picked up an assault with us. This is Todd Anthony Miller, right?
Yes, were you on probation? Yeah, he was not on probation. He was on bond for assault.
Showing
The triangle hold we played had a thigh involved. So, I mean, maybe she's just tired.
he's on, oh, no, he's on deferred for credit card abuse, right?
Saw that.
Todd Miller? Oh, maybe, unless he got early terminated. Oh, yeah, it looks like they early terminated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Show that it's terminated.
Regardless, you're on bond for an assault, bodily injury, and now you've picked up an assault of a peace officer, a felony case. What happened on that case, please?
So on July 9, 2024, officers were dispatched to a restaurant in Harris County, Texas, in regards to an assault.
No, not on our case, on the felony case.
Order in the court, please.
Oh, you're referring to the assault, the security officer. My apologies.
That's okay.
Officer was dispatched to the Tipsy Lounge Bar located at 4806 Almeda Road in Houston, Texas, Harris County, Texas, regarding an assault that occurred. Officer spoke with the complainant, who stated that he is a licensed security officer, and while working at this bar, the defendant assaulted him. The officer observed the complainant wearing a ballistic vest, a gun belt with a firearm, and a holster, as well as.
Say that again?
The officer observed the complainant wearing the vest, a gun belt with a firearm, and a holster, as well as a highly visible gold badge that was around his neck in plain view, with the words "Personal Protection Officer" written on it. The complainant stated that while he was working security at the Tipsy Lounge Bar, he observed the defendant approach him in an attempt to enter the bar. The complainant observed the defendant to be highly intoxicated, so he denied him access into the bar. The complainant stated that the defendant began to bother the other patrons that were leaving the bar, so he told him that he needed to leave the location. To which the defendant became very hostile and took a stance as if he were about to fight him. Then the complainant began to escort him away from the property, and the defendant punched him in the chest with a closed fist, causing pain.
What did I ask you to do? When you picked up this case, what did I tell you to do? What did I tell you not to do? Right. And what'd you do? What happens now? Yes. He goes with you. No. I want my city protected. You out there, that doesn't happen. I'm revoking your bond. Yeah, so 5,002. Yeah. Sorry, Dean.
No,
But
yeah, I think I was gonna see if we could maybe revisit later on. So I think the issue with the case in here, in that case, I think it's alcohol.
Yeah.
I think that's the big.
I agree with you, and I didn't. If it is in our case, I don't know why we didn't have him under conditions not to use, but for sure now he's not going to. And when he bonds out, I'm going to put a monitor on his ankle so we know that he's not using.
That's what I was gonna see in lieu of taking him in.
No, No, because I want him to understand we mean business, you know, and that we don't, especially a security guard, you know, it's not cool. He's gonna get out. He'll bond out. I have no, I know he's gonna bond out, right? If he doesn't, after a while, then we can talk. But I have no, I mean, I know he's gonna end up bonding out. But when he does, at that point, I'm gonna put his grandma's and I'm gonna tell him not to drink, not to go to any more bars and stuff like that.
That's the underlying issue for,
Hopefully that cures it.
yeah, I think that,
So, he's gonna auto-populate on Tuesday.
okay.
If he doesn't bond out by then, we'll get together. So, hey, Rachel, so on bottom of 14, I just put him in jail. Okay, if he bonds out, he must get a scram on his ankle within, 2 days. No dope, no alcohol,
But Sheriff, you have a weapon.
random testing. And then Hugh, would you mind letting him know that we're putting a monitor on his ankle so that he can't consume if he does bond out? So that way he knows as soon as he gets out, his condition is to get that thing on his ankle that he can't consume. Okay. Did they do that upstairs or no?
What's that?
No,
they didn't.
Did they put any conditions upstairs?
Conditions, when he got a PR bond upstairs.
Wow. Okay, we'll take care of it for him then. Thanks, you. Okay, take care. You too. See you Tuesday. Hey, Josh. What's new, man? Okay. Oh, we finally got her. Did we just get her? What would you like to do?
Except for bond review. I don't think she has any funds available right now. She's doing some side like lashes and extensions.
I'm not giving her a PR bond because she don't come back. She literally, we let her out. She absconds and then we don't get her until she picks up a new case. If you don't believe me, the prior theft case that we have with her that was dismissed in April of this year was at 7504. If that gives you any indication. I mean, it's literally, so I don't know if it's a drug or alcohol issue, but I think that what I want to do now is set her up for a TRAS to find out what's going on with her. And then pending TRAS, what that says, perhaps we could talk about a bond. But my first inkling is I want her evaluated to see what's going on with her. Okay, please. And then we'll expedite it so she doesn't just sit there, and we'll get it done. But obviously not today, but some point next week. And then it'll take a day or two to get the report back, and then we'll see what they say. It may say Hue, Satif, I don't know. But you know what?
I think I remember back in the old days, the mods were me, Ramona, Victoria, Melissa. And then one day, this mod came along, Michael, I think. I don't remember. I called him my coworker. Every day, me and my coworker would go into Court 5 and mod that channel together. And then all of a sudden, one day, Michael, was that his name, Michael, or was it Michelle? Maybe it was Michelle. I don't know. My coworker just left me. And then Victoria had to go and find a whole bunch of, let me just tell you how good Michelle was. Michelle was so good at modding that to replace Michelle, who never shows up anymore, Victoria went out and found 7, 8 more people to fill his void. Void meaning he's just never there anymore. I miss my coworker. We were banning people left and right together, and now we don't get to do that anymore.
You mind bringing her out, please? Miss Hermes, who's your other guy?
The other guy is Jones.
Jones? Both, you said in custody as well, right?
Right. So he's got a parole hold, so I know we're set for bail review.
Daniel
but-
Jones?
Yes, Daniel Jones.
Look, this kid looks like he's 15, man.
Right, yeah.
Apparently Fozzie gets upset if you sleep.
What's he on parole for?
Judge, which
It's
one
an
are you
AFM.
talking about? Which defendant?
So first is, they're bringing out Hermes or Herme, I don't know. And then now we're talking about Jones, Daniel Jones. And I guess he has a parole hold.
And a pending felony case.
What, do you know what the parole hold is for in Jones?
For an assault case as well, Judge.
So here, do you know if he's gonna bond out?
I don't believe so, Judge.
Oh, he can't. I guess he's on parole. He's got a parole
The
hold, right?
word, yeah.
I guess you want to set it off a week or so?
Sure, we can-
Or wait, he's got a felony, I guess. Felony set for 9/3. I guess you would just do the date after.
After that,
Yeah, okay, for sure.
I can reapproach when you.
No, the felony's for on 9/3,
Oh.
which is a
Tuesday.
Tuesday. So you want to do that?
The next day, 9/4?
Yeah.
Judge, I don't know.
So in Montgomery, Judge, he had assault, impeding breath with a prior 2 years confinement.
And now he picked up another impeding breath.
Yeah, he was convicted in
Oh, no, just
April of last year.
AFM with a
He
prior.
picked up an AFM with a prior.
Sorry, guys. Okay. Victoria's husband, Michael, is a mod in Judge Fleischer's courtroom. Me and him used to mod together, but he's been so busy with, sleep that he can't anymore. He works a lot. Yeah, leave him alone. He's a working man. At least Victoria has someone with a job. Let's just give her props for that. Good job, Victoria. Although I heard that it's better for a house to have 2 incomes nowadays than 1. So you should really make him get 2 jobs.
And indecent assault.
Dude,
Judge, for the PC on the indecent assault, while they were reporting the assault, they reported with regarding to the indecent assault that on August 26th, the defendant attempted to make unwanted sexual advances towards her. And she refused, stated she went to sleep on the couch in the living room. When she woke up, she observed the defendant kissing her on her third thigh, touching her vaginal area underneath her clothes.
okay. We'll just set it after the felony, then I guess just track it.
Judge, real quick, for bonus, we sent him to get a drug test, it came back negative. Can I just reset?
Oh, what? Really?
Mhm.
Okay.
I like how you think.
So, 10 PM, 6 a.m.
Goodness, that cocaine, but he needs to.
Andrew, we're talking about your guy, just so you know. Surprisingly, it came back negative. And it came back negative.
Oh, I thought you said it was negative. I wrote down negative.
Okay.
Oh, I'm
For what?
sorry.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, then let me do this. Let me
Okay,
talk to
sorry.
her.
I
and
thought it
we'll-
was negative. Yeah. I thought it was-
Man, I'm gonna put you on probation.
No, put me on house arrest.
I second that. Put me on house arrest
House
too.
arrest.
Miss Hermes, is it Hermes or May? How's jail? We can't get you to show up for anything. Catching you is like catching a unicorn. Like, it's like winning the lottery, but now we got you.
You have
And I'm not
Victoria.
letting
You
go
have
of you.
both.
And I know because in our prior case, your bond was set at 7504. So what I'm gonna do now is I want you to speak to our clinicians because I want to see what's going on with you. I'm setting your case for a TRAS so that you can talk to them so we can figure out where we go from here. Be honest. If you're not, then I'm gonna send you right back to do it again. And we're gonna do it until it takes. I'm not gonna just let you out because I know if I let you out, you're just gonna take off. We'll never see you again until you pick up a new case. So let's figure out what's going on and we'll go from there. Do you have any questions, man? Okay, good luck. We'll see you soon. Thanks, Josh. John D.
Judge, we have a plea for Mr. Samuel Garza. Can I bring Mr. Garza up?
Sure.
Garcia, I'm sorry. My bad.
You know, the idea that we have you here, Mr. Garcia, is that we get you to do some good in your life, to, at the very minimum, get your GED. While we have control over you, we can make sure that that gets done. Now you're just going to end up pleading guilty. All you're doing is you're taking more convictions. You're now working on your 6th conviction. You still have no GED, going nowhere in life but down. Is that a good way to go?
No, sir. I learned my lesson yesterday.
Do you think I believe that? Really?
Sir, that's why I came out, just to finish my GED.
Judge, just the other day, he did show me proof that he's actually enrolled at a class. He was scheduled, but now he has to get it rescheduled. But it's a 2-week GED program. He had the paperwork, and so he is on his way.
I start September 3rd.
I notate everything that we do here because it's impossible for me with the 2,500 children I have floating around here. I'm like the woman in the shoe, right? I have so many kids, don't know what to do. I write everything down. And with you, I'm writing everything down now. You're telling me you've changed your ways. If I see you back here, you will be nothing but a minimum of 90 days going forward. Do you understand? So you pick up a new case, you get into a car and drive without a license. If I see you back here, I will bring the pain. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
This is your 3rd marijuana case. If you want to smoke, go to California. There are other places that you can smoke weed free and clear, just like little bunnies jumping in the woods. Not in Texas.
Yes, Your Honor.
And if you keep doing it, you're going to end up back here. And I'm telling you, it'll be a minimum of 90 going forward. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
I will do everything in my power to protect everyone in Houston. If that means putting you in there, I'm happy to do it. You're giving up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on your behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you're not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization. You give up the right to appeal once you accept this agreement. You can never change this or undo this. Do you understand?
Sir.
What kind of credits, homeboy? 3 days in jail.
4 days credit, Judge.
Credit for the 4 days that you've done. How do you plead to the offense of possession of marijuana? I will find you guilty. I will send it you to the agreement. Mr. John D., he was going to be required to pay court costs. I'm going to make him pay it. You don't pay it, you will be doing
Sorry,
1
on
day in
his
jail
way.
for every $100 that you owe. Do you understand?
Sir.
Okay, good luck to you, sir. Please see the clerk.
All right, so to end this stream, I'm not muted. It's good. Everything's good. To end this stream, so we posted a link to American Courts, who had interviewed Judge Fleischer yesterday. It was great. It was a great video. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. But when he did that, Judge Fleischer had sent a message to me, and Bill said it was fine that we play it. So Fozzie got this together. So guess, okay, fine. Fozzie does more work than I give him credit for. Look, he just posted the link that I needed. Boop, boop, boop. But I'm going to show you just a small thing that Judge Fleischer sent to me. And it's so good. So good. Here we go.
Kathy, thank you for everything that you do. We absolutely love you. Thank you for moderating, and we love your channel. It's something that we take to heart every day. And I promise I watch it every day and I absolutely love it. So thank you for all that you do.
Yay, Judge Fleischer. He was talking to us, guys. He likes this channel. That's you guys. That's the chat. It's so good. Isn't he so cute? Bill, thanks for getting that for me. I appreciate it. Fozzie, thanks for getting that for me. I appreciate it. It was really good. It was I was like, I don't know, I was freaking out when I watched it the first time. I'm cool, calm, and collected now. All right. Sorry I was late today. You know, it happens. I'm going to get going. I work a double today, and I will see you tomorrow. Wait, tomorrow is Sunday, so tomorrow is my last stream before I take one day off. So it'll be this trial that we're working on. I have a good one. I have it's a child custody one, but the dad is crazy. So I have a good one coming. No, yeah, he might have said Michael, but I altered it. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate you coming out this early morning. It's not late night. This stream isn't late night now. It's early morning officially. I will see you guys tomorrow. Be good. Oh, be really good because there's no judges on Monday. Don't get arrested tonight, guys. Don't be stupid. Get arrested on Monday.
Got these life echoes, digital dreams. Through the screen, her blue eyes gleam. Wicked humor, sharp as a knife. Her stream sparks electric light. Late at night when the world sleeps, she's the friend that always keeps. Giggles roll like thunder loud. She stands out in any crowd. Kathy's laugh cuts through the gloom. Eyes blue like a summer's bloom. Her humor dark and twisted charm. In a way, there's no alarm. Dream tales waiting to the night. Her laughter feels just right. Even when my world turns gray, with a giggle, she lights the way. Her eyes near a sky so blue. In her jokes, there's a truth so true. With each stream, she brings the light. Turns dark days into bright. Kathy's laugh cuts through the gloom. Eyes blue like a summer's bloom. Her humor dark and twisted charm. In a way, there's no alarm. Streaming tales waiting to the night. Her laughter feels just right. Even when my world turns gray, with a giggle, she lights the way. Kathy's laugh cuts through the gloom. Eyes blue like a summer's bloom. Her humor dark and twisted charm. In a way, there's no alarm.